They can take your world. They can take your heart. Cut you loose from all you know. But if it's your fate, then every step forward will always be a step closer to home.
Yo, what up peeps? It's your boy Enf, and welcome to another episode of The Grind Spot. On today's episode, I'm going to review the long-awaited Kingdom Hearts 3. And boy oh boy, let me tell you, I have been waiting for this moment for a long time, as Kingdom Hearts is one of my most favorite gaming franchises of all time. Kingdom Hearts. But enough procrastination, it's time to indulge my passion, face my fears, and keep this review simple and clean. What? What did I say? And this has been The Grind Spot. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and you know what? Forget it. You guys suck. Kingdom Hearts 3 is the 12th installment in the franchise, not counting the HD collection and remakes. The series is going to be the collaborative love child of Disney and Square Enix. It is a very successful action role-playing game series that contains a large and loyal fanbase to this day. The games prior had something of an identity crisis, as the core gameplay went through many iterations like card-based combat, the command deck, and whatever the fuck that turn-based metal-using battle system Union Cross has, and etc. Plus, before the HD collections were ever a thing, most of the games were released exclusively to different consoles. Despite peaking in popularity at that time, it was one of the most difficult franchises for newcomers to get into. However, now that we have all games possible on PS4, all newcomers save for the ones on Xbox One are able to keep up with the franchise. Now, after 6 years since its original announcement in 2013, Kingdom Hearts 3 was finally released and in the embrace of many fans and newcomers alike on the 29th of January 2019. Kingdom Hearts 3 returns to the traditional combat that Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 utilized, but it adds dozens of new features and combat options to keep it fresh, unique, and engaging. This is Kingdom Hearts like you've never seen it before. Well, save for 0.2 and crossback cover, since they use the same engine and all. But, well, you know what I mean. Alright, let's get down to the oily mechanical bits. As an action role-playing game, you might think that it contains basic combat. Well, if you think that way, then you're both right and wrong. Kingdom Hearts has its own complexities when it comes to its combat and gameplay, but it manages to respect your personal playstyle and rewards you for being experimental. Most Kingdom Hearts games tend to have this thing as their strong suit, but this opinion differs between certain games. In Kingdom Hearts 3, and many other Kingdom Hearts games, you play as Sora, and with his loyal companions Don and Goofy by his side, you get to travel across many Disney worlds across the realm of light. Sora wields a weapon known as the Keyblade, and with it by your side, you are able to slay many adversaries along the way. The most common enemies that you encounter are the Heartless. There will be many more that will get in your way, so never let your guard down. Good luck, have fun, and most importantly, Don't die. At the beginning of the game, you are treated with a choice between pivotal points in Sora's memories, which represent a virtue. You are first given a choice of desire, which will determine your starting statistics and growth. You are then required to choose a power, which will determine your ability growth. This entire sequence is a callback to the tutorial sections of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Seeing the glass-stained pillars, and hearing Destati in the background, and being shown multiple memories of Sora's journey in the past, will be sure to tickle that nostalgia pickle. Like I said before, Kingdom Hearts 3 uses a traditional combat system that 1 and 2 utilizes, being that of a hack-and-slash action role-playing game. Combat options like attacking, using magic, and items are placed on a Final Fantasy-like selection menu. You are able to level up and gain bonuses through different instances like event battles, boss battles, and mandatory activities. These bonuses consist of HP increases, unlockable items, equipment slots, and abilities that you can equip to enhance Sora and his comrades. An ability that you're able to equip off the bat is Zero Experience, where you can either pause your gain of experience or play through the game at level 1 if you choose to challenge yourself. Sora can use a range of magic, summonable links, and items on a shortcut menu. This is accessible through holding down the top left trigger and pressing the assigned buttons. A newly added feature to this system is the ability to have more than 4 shortcuts by switching to the menu pages. Adding commands to the shortcut menu is simple, as you just go into the customize menu and simply assign them to a button. Within this same menu, you're able to change the AI on your party members. And hey, guess what? Donald heals this time around. Well, on my playthrough he did. But let me let you in on my 2 cents on Donald's healing ability. He healed me in those other games as well. All it takes is a little tweak of his AI, and by keeping an eye on his MP, so that you don't heal yourself straight before he does. So please stop with those unfunny scrub jokes about Donald not healing. Because he does! Rant over. Evasive and guarding maneuvers are placed on a singular button, square for PlayStation and X for Xbox. These actions are placed as equipable abilities. Pushing the analog stick while pressing the button will initiate evasion. The dodge roll ability is used on the ground, while the airside ability, or aerial dodge as expected in combat, is used in the air. Using evasion abilities will grant you invulnerability for a split second, and timing them right will put you out of harm's way. Also, pressing the button while stationary initiates a block. Successfully timed blocks completely negate enemy attack damage. However, beware as not all attacks are able to be blocked, so use it wisely. Unlike the previous games, you are now able to block in the air, so now you don't have to worry about aerial assaults from the enemy. If you're a veteran of the series, you'll find that Kingdom Hearts 3 is made up of multiple mechanics from many previous games. The MP recharge system from Kingdom Hearts 2 has returned, in which if you consume your magic points, then it'll be put into a state of recharge, and you won't be able to use abilities that use magic until it replenishes. There is an ability that you can equip that prevents you from fully consuming your MP bar through the use of magical abilities save for curing and using link summons that in itself consumes the gauge. This is similar to the mechanic in Kingdom Hearts 2 where you can disable individual spells from fully consuming the gauge into MP recharge. Shotlocks from Dream Drop Distance and 0.2 have also made its return, where you are able to lock onto multiple enemies and dish out a volley of powerful long-range attacks. Each Keyblade has a different shot lock to use, and fully locking onto your enemies will change the shot lock. A new feature included with shot locking is Air Stab, where you are able to fly towards an object or enemy in a fast-moving motion to get to places that can't be reached normally. Or you can use it to get close to your enemies to dish out the pain. Lastly, using a shot lock consumes focus, but using Air Step does not, meaning that it can be used at almost any point in battle. Another returning mechanic is Flow Motion from Dream Drop Distance, where you're able to wall jump, pole swing, deliver a quick dash, and rail grind. You can also use it to break into an attack combo when prompted to after initiating Flow Motion. Unlike Dream Drop Distance, you are unable to spam it to get to certain places easily, but the Flow Motion attacks don't do nearly as much damage as they used to. An addition to maneuver-based actions is wall running, where Sora will automatically run across certain walls with a faint updraft glow. He can easily break into flow motion if you decide to jump up or dash up and off the wall. Some enemies are able to stick to the wall, and you must engage them while scaling. There is also free running, where Sora will automatically scale through certain environments, especially areas with glittery spots. All of these will require the basic push of the analog stick. There is also the ability to dive. While falling from a high altitude, Sora's falling animation will change into a skydiving formation. You can use this to make a drop on your enemies when the attack prompt appears. Some objects around the world can only be broken by this attack. They also contain major loot, so be on the lookout for them. Kingdom Hearts 3 uses a mechanic called situation commands, an evolution to Kingdom Hearts 2's reaction commands, which, by the way, were mostly used for cinematic actions. Here, they are still cinematic, but they are faster and require less input from the player. A large range of situation commands consist of combo attacks with your party members, Keyblade form changes, attractions, and grand magic. Situation commands also apply to out-of-battle actions, like talking and examining. There are also many others that apply to unique situations, but that's for you to discover. I know there was a lot of terminology there for you to wrap your head around, but hell. This is the grind spot. We're in it for the long haul, baby. So I'll explain these all to you individually. Combo attacks are situation commands that appear occasionally during battle. A party member or more will inform you if they are ready to initiate these attacks. They do extraordinary damage to enemies and will come in handy more often than not. Keyblade form changes are able to be activated once you've attacked enemies enough times. This is indicated through a tree of arrows located above the command menu. You'll find this is the method to activate most situation commands. Form changes involve a change in Sora and his Keyblade's appearance, abilities, and attack animations. Each form change contains a powerful finisher that deals major damage to enemies, while some of them have a secondary form to use. While each Keyblade has their own form change, some of them are close to each other, but in the end they all still feel unique to use, so this makes for an easy adjustment to your playstyle. Attractions are summonable rides that you can use to assault your enemies Disneyland style. These rides come in the forms of a blaster ride, a pirate ship, a carousel, and many more. To activate this situation command, you must attack an enemy with a green ring around them, but you must do so quickly as it's timed. The summonable rides are usually random, but you'll find your favorite one amongst them regardless. My personal favorite is the pirate ship, due to how powerful it is and how fun it is to juggle your enemies until they're dead. Sorry, but there are no height limits in death. Beware, however, you can still take damage while on an attraction, so make sure you use them when you're not in a pinch. Grand magic are powerful attacks that you are able to activate when you combo your elemental magic. The name itself is quite self-explanatory, as they are stronger versions of your magic. This form of magic is mostly handy to wipe out groups of enemies caught within its range, and they do ridiculous amounts of damage. Whew, you still with me? I know that's a lot to take in, but bear with me now. Outside of situation commands, you are now able to switch between 3 Keyblades on the fly. You can use this to store form changes freely, and you're also able to upgrade these Keyblades in the Forge for better stats and abilities. Neat, huh? So I really mean it when I say that you can make easy adjustments to your playstyle. Link is Kingdom Hearts 3's Return of the Summoning command from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. Using Links, you're able to summon iconic Disney characters like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, the titular Wreck-It Ralph, Simba from The Lion King, Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and the Dream Drop distance-centric Dream Eater, Meow Wow. These summonable characters each have their own powerful attacks that put the enemies on their toes. However, just like the attractions, you can still take damage, so make sure to use them wisely. Personally, I hardly used Links throughout my playthrough, as the other combat options made me feel powerful enough to deal with enemies on my own. Maybe I might find use for them in a more challenging future playthrough. The classic synthesis system from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 has also returned here in 3. In the synthesis menu, you can develop items and equipment at the cost of materials found from enemies and chests. Some materials are rarer than others, so try not to blow all your materials. You might need them for something else. The save point warping function from 0.2 has also returned. As the worlds are now larger, You'll find it quite the chore if you try to go back manually, but worry no more, as you can use this if you ever need to backtrack. Last on the main gameplay, you'll occasionally run into a rail shooter section. These sections are called rail gauntlets. There will be a blue glowing arrow accompanying a rail that will indicate you're about to experience one. Upon interacting with the arrow, Sora will mount the rail and a reticule will appear on screen, and you'll be able to shoot blue homing orbs at enemies that come your way. These sections have their own level of challenge, as you'll encounter hazards on the rail and the assault of the enemy. Outside of the main game, there are dozens of activities for you to engage in. These activities will mainly consist of mini-games and optional objectives that will reward you greatly if you fulfill them. There are occasions where they will also contribute to the main story, and they will require you to complete them to move the story forward, but most of them just seem to be cosmetic to the game. An example of activities is a new feature called Photo Mode, where you can either take whole shots or selfies with Sora and his companions. The camera is used for fulfilling objectives for the Moogles in order to get prizes. It is also used for a collectathon quest that involves hidden Mickeys, or lucky emblems as they're known in this game. With the minigames, the developers managed to implement a bunch of Game & Watch-like games called Classic Kingdom, which play exactly how they did back in the day, and it manages to be just as fun as they once were. My personal favourites out of these games are the more puzzle-oriented ones, as they deliver more of a challenge than the ones that require coordination. Another is a cooking minigame called Bistro. Here you can cook multiple dishes at the cost of ingredients that you'll find throughout the worlds. Remy the Rat, or as he's known in the game, Little Chef, is tugging on Sora's hair just like he did to Linguini in Ratatouille. Personally, I like to call the little bastard Gordon Ratsy. Yes, I know. Okay, I get it! Shut up! At first I found the bistro to be quite frustrating, as I've wasted multiple ingredients on failure. Many a failure. Yeah. But most of these failures are trivial, I tell ya. I mean, damn, I dropped some salt and pepper shakers. Just pick them up, it's not a big deal. Oh, I didn't cut the ingredients in time. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Not everyone's a food samurai. But how the fuck do you crush eggs like that? Like Christ, you have to be a complete idiot sandwich to fuck an egg like that. Are you kidding me, Sora? Are you kidding me? Tell him, just tell him, Gordon Ratsy. Fuck's sake.
What the fuck are you doing? Where's the lamb sauce?
Yeah, what he said. There are many more minigames out there to play and enjoy, but I'll let you all experience that firsthand when you play the game yourself. Also, commonly within Kingdom Hearts standards, there are just too many damn minigames to list and explain. But, regardless, I will lastly talk about the returning minigame, which is the Gummy Ship. In the Gummy Ship, there are two modes that you will find yourself switching between, Exploration Mode and Battle Mode. In Exploration Mode, you'll be flying around the lanes between the Star Ocean? Space? These space landscapes are yours to travel through, and you'll find yourself going on a crazy collectathon, or completing missions, or you'll just go to the next possible world. You'll also encounter enemies along the way as well. That's where we'll shift into the topic of Battle Mode. In Battle Mode, you're tasked with shooting down multitudes of enemies that appear on screen. However, there are different objectives contained in each battle to complete them, like shooting down a set number of enemies, or shooting down as much enemies as you can before the time runs out. There are also bosses that you'll occasionally encounter, sometimes to get in the way of your journey to the next world. You're ranked in each battle, and the higher the rank, the better the drops you'll gain for the battle. Now, I'm aware how unpopular this minigame is to many fans, but I personally enjoy it as they remind me of a faster paced Star Fox. The Gummy Ship gameplay of Kingdom Hearts 3 is more exploration based this time around, and I was completely ecstatic to find this out since the gameplay here personally reminded me of the space combat found in the Ratchet & Clank games, which I also heavily enjoy. Also, many of the activities in this section of the game are pretty optional except for a few select bosses, but it's still here for you to sink loads of time into. Oh, hang on a minute! I can't forget the most important feature when it comes to the Gummy Ships. If you ever feel like awakening your inner engineer, the Gummy Editor will be the domain you're looking for. I've poured in quite a lot of time into building my ship from the ground up. I tried to get the best possible balance so that I could hold up against the toughest battles ahead. Hell, I did the exact same thing in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I felt a great surge of nostalgia hit me while building my ship, and it was quite a zen moment. Oh, come on. Don't look at me like that, it's not what you think. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a continuation from Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Sora, the main protagonist, has failed to show the mark of mastery as a Keyblade wielder, as he fell to darkness from an interference played by the devious tactician himself, Master Xehanort. As a result of this, Sora loses his powers once again and finds himself unable to use the power of waking, a power used to restore lost hearts, which is pivotal to the journey ahead. Saddened yet determined, Sora is paired with his old companions, Donald and Goofy. The three decide to go on a journey once again to reclaim Sora's lost powers, while attempting to search for the remaining members of the 7 Guardians of Light who will aid in the fight ahead against the 13 Seekers of Darkness. Xehanort places pieces of his heart into the members of the new Organization 13, a group that consists of the 13 Darknesses. His plan is to make the 7 Lights clash with the 13 Darknesses. This will forge the ultimate key.
And it will soon belong to me. Keyblade!
The Keyblade is protected by its counterpart, the titular object, Kingdom Hearts, the heart of all worlds, the source of ultimate power and knowledge. It is the very thing Xehanort is after, and will use it to fulfill his own agenda. In the meanwhile, they prepare themselves for the destined fight, while being a complete pain in the ass to the Light Guardians, threatening to use an alternative countermeasure if they choose not to engage them in combat. Will Sora and his friends defeat the darkness and restore balance to the realm of light? Find out next time, when you play the game. When it comes to the story, Kingdom Hearts isn't the most accessible franchise, and its convolution isn't for everybody. But in saying that, the game is everything you could ever ask for in accessibility, as it is perhaps the easiest to follow. You are given a bunch of recap moves in the title screen called the Memory Archives. Here, you can be caught up with the story thus far. And in-game, there's even a glossary on the different terminology used throughout the game, so if you still feel lost, you can find this within the Gummy Phone. But be warned however, as you'll still need to use your thinking cap for most parts of the plot.
Sorry, I got nothing. What did you expect?
May your heart be your guiding key.
Huh? What's that?
Master Yen always said that, right before we went off on any of our real important adventures.
Really? Ring a bell?
Maybe I just imagined it.
As I first finished this game at around 39 hours, 55 minutes and 21 seconds, I found myself empty and in need for revalidation of my life. Anyway, I eventually picked it up again immediately after completion, and did most of the extra content and leveled up to level 99. Now my playtime is around 60 plus hours. There are complaints out there stating that the game is too short, especially due to the development time frame. But let me tell you this, was a Kingdom Hearts game ever long? And do you understand what it means to give a game a solid pacing? If you're expecting a 100-hour game like Persona 5 or Dragon Quest XI, then I think you've lost yourself in your expectations. Well then, I bet you're mostly wondering, was these 6 years really worth it all? Well, to me, hell yeah! Kingdom Hearts 3 was mostly what I hoped it would be. There are indeed things that I myself didn't like in this game, but that is besides the point. I really enjoyed this grand epilogue to a saga that has been confirmed to continue once again with a brand new story arc in the future. Though, most of my criticisms are towards the story and how parts of it were executed. However, I enjoyed it all regardless, since I invested my time into decoding the story despite its complications, ever since the first game. But since this is a non-story spoiler review, I won't be opening that can of worms until possibly another time. I really loved the gameplay this time around, as it leaned more closer to Kingdom Hearts 2, my favourite Kingdom Hearts game, and my favourite game of all time. The fast-paced nature really made it engaging, but with the loads of combat options to use and the damage you can deliver, the game made it rather easy. Now, don't crucify me on this, but I'm more of a standard mode player. Despite that, the older games have given me great challenges and put me on my toes on certain occasions. But here, it feels like Sora has become something of an equivalent to a god made of glass, and the enemies and bosses seem to be less of a threat. Because of this, I will replay the game eventually on proud mode so that I can have a second opinion. If you have come for a challenge in Kingdom Hearts 3, for the love of God, whatever you do not buy the Kupo coin. And the reason why you shouldn't is because once you reach 0 HP, you're automatically revived. And for something so major, it's actually really cheap to pick up as it costs around 40 money. Hopefully in future updates, they decide to up the price so that it makes it hard for those attempting to get an easy way out of sticky situations. The level design in Kingdom Hearts 3 is definitely on point this time around. Each world has its own gimmicks, which never made me feel bored and constantly engaged. This is because the worlds are not like a barren of economy, as some areas contain multiple NPCs that you can interact with. These interactions can range from conversation, eavesdropping, and doing a short performance in front of them, which in turn you can gain money from. This certainly made the worlds a lot more alive than in previous games. Alright, I'll apologize if this is considered a spoiler, but I am disappointed to find out that Twilight Town is smaller than its previous counterparts. I was pretty gutted when its story arc ended within an hour compared to other worlds, and it was certainly a shame that I wasn't able to go back to Central Station and run up the clock tower. It was also a shame that I couldn't visit other iconic areas like the back alley, Sunset Terrace, and the Sandlot. Like, damn Square, what happened there? There are a couple of Disney worlds that I had gripes with when it came to its own secluded plot. All I'll say about this problem is that if you're a casual Disney fan, or have just come for the JRPG aspect of it, then you will not understand the context of what is going on within that world unless you've seen the actual movies. It became apparent that they've left out a lot of pivotal parts, and the game will actively punish you for not knowing the context of the movies. No, seriously. If I hadn't have watched Frozen, like a few days before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, then I would have been fucking boned. Who the fuck is that? Is that what? Who? Dude, what? Oh man, I should have watched Frozen before I played Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, I know it's mainstream, come on. It's not my fault my house is a rock. On a more positive side, my personal favorite world is the Caribbean, of the Pirates of the Caribbean fame. And in this world, you're able to traverse the sea in your own personal ship. And with it, you're able to discover and explore different islands, and find treasure amongst them. However, know that you're not alone, as Heartless also have ships that aim to shoot you down. But fear not, as your ship is fairly equipped to deal with that sort of threat. The Caribbean personally reminded me of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and I found myself really enjoying this world. Now, I won't go too much into the Caribbean's features, but I can't help but mention how amazing the graphics were in this world. But would you believe me if I say this world is more visually impressive than the likes of Uncharted 4? Like seriously, the visuals in the Caribbean, both gameplay wise and cutscene wise, are mind-blowingly realistic. This was the world I found was closest to the original material, which by the way, was a live action movie.
There, Sora.
Huh? Oh, Jack Sparrow!
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Sure is.
Hey, Jack, where are we? Oh,
Belay that! Ship absconding!
huh?
Help me catch the pearl before she gets away!
Aye aye, Captain.
Well, speaking of which, the graphics as a whole are really phenomenal in Kingdom Hearts 3, and each Disney world looks and feels more Disney than they've ever felt before thanks to the Kingdom shader. This Kingdom shader gives each world its own shading textures, and makes the aesthetics closer to their respective movies. Like me, it's likely you'll be gushing when you look at the many horizons the worlds have to offer. The cutscenes this time around are all fully animated, and you won't be seeing that classic PS2 fish face ever again. But on that note, I personally never had any issue with it, but that's mostly because of nostalgia, and those are glasses I'm never taking off. Though, this is Kingdom Hearts within this current generation of gaming, so it was certainly refreshing to see these cutscenes be a lot more dynamic than in the previous games. Sans 0.2. The voice work and dialogue have also made a tremendous improvement, and you can feel the emotions that the actors have poured into voicing their respective characters. Because of their efforts, I enjoyed how the characters interacted with the world and between each other during a dialogue session. I found these events to be quite wholesome, and it added more dynamics to the characters that you control and travel with. So kudos to the many voice actors who worked on Kingdom Hearts 3. You did an amazing job.
Yay!
But, on the other hand, if you ever tried to escape games that has recycled dialogue that points out the obvious, then I think you've come to the wrong place. As Sora, Donald, and Goofy will constantly remind you, and remind you, and remind you, and remind you. Oh, did I mention remind you that there are lucky emblems to take pictures of or ingredients to harvest nearby? I've personally found all the lucky emblems, so that's one nightmare that I could escape from until the second playthrough. But on my current run, there is one nightmare that I absolutely cannot run from.
Hope we find some ingredients around here.
I bet we'll find some ingredients around here.
This might be a good spot to find some ingredients.
Hope we find some ingredients around here.
This might be a good spot to find some ingredients.
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 That's it.
What's up, Iggy?
I've come up with a new recipe.
Ingredients.
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 Shut up. Ingredients.
Ingredients.
Ingredients. Ingredients.
Thank you, Roxas. As they've confirmed DLC and updates, I hope that they implement the ability to silence them as well as a new Game Plus option, because my god, if I have to put up with that in the next playthrough, so God help me. And on a similar topic of starting a new game, how do you like only having 9 save files to use? Unlike the 99 save files in the previous games, if you wanted to play Kingdom Hearts 3 more than 9 times, then you're shit out of luck. Or if you want to save after every cool and epic moment, well, guess what? You're shit out of luck. Lastly, man, oh man, I don't think anyone can talk about the Kingdom Hearts franchise without mentioning the music. Yoko Shimomura, Takaharu Ishimoto, and Tsuyoshi Sekito really blew it out of the park. And not even just the park, they blew it out of the stadium and made sure the park went with it. Each track has its own defining personality on the world, situations, and grandeur moments. The soundtrack is mostly a nostalgic ride as it contains remixes of tracks from the previous games, but it's because of that, it touches a very special place in my heart. But since you've been hearing songs from the franchise throughout this video, if it wasn't clear enough for you to hear its amazingness, then here, just listen to Kingdom Hearts 3's rendition of Dearly Beloved, the franchise's main leitmotif. Beautiful, am I right? Kingdom Hearts 3 is available for PS4 and Xbox One. And this has been The Grind Spot. I know it was long, but for those who stuck around, I hope you enjoyed this review. And if you've already played the game, then I'm glad that I'm able to indirectly share my love and passion for both the game and the franchise itself. If you want to see more content from Right Hook Productions, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and slap that bell. I'm Ev, and I'll make like the podcast and sign off.